The manager will lead us in the pledge and the prayer. Great.
Thank you, Mayor. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, you are so good, Lord. Just want to first give thanks to you for the many blessings that you continue to pour out over our community, Lord. I thank you for the privilege that it is to serve our community, Father. I just pray that your Holy Spirit be in this room this evening and you help give us discernment and guide our decision making, Father God. It's in your Son Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Before we approve tonight's agenda, I'd like to add an item L2. This is an item at the end of the meeting for consultation with the governing body's attorney for the matter of deeming privileged communication in the attorney-client privilege relationship. So that'll be item L2. I'll make that as a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And the seconds? No, that's fine. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment.
Make a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment.
Thank you, Naomi.
I second.
Krista seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Moving on to item D, citizen comments. This is an opportunity for members of the community to come and speak, 3 minutes. And it's not a dialogue or anything like that. It's just an opportunity for us to listen. Is there a sheet of paper there so they can sign in and open citizen comments?
Danny,
Yes.
do we have a sign-in sheet up at the podium?
We do.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. Can't see it from here, so.
You're up.
Sure, come on.
Here, should I sign in first for us, speak? Hello, I'm Kevin O'Brien. I'm running for the 101st District House of Representatives at the state level. Our current representative, Joe Syward, is retiring after 18 years, and got to know Joe a couple of years ago. We also run the marina out at Cheney Lake, and he was helping us with some drought issues and stuff like that, and got to know me a little more. And he suggested that I run for politics, and that was kind of a joke because I am not a politician. And I told Joe, I said, I'm too bold to go to Topeka. They'll stick me in a corner and tell me to shut up because they won't like me. And he said, that's exactly why we gotta have you run. So he did handpick me. He's endorsed me and cheered me on to this level. And of course, I got about 2 weeks left before I know I do have a contested primary. So I am pro-life, backed by Kansans for Life. I did just get endorsement today for Kansas Family Values. Mike Murphy from Reno County, the senator out there, has endorsed me. The commissioners out there in Reno County have endorsed me. Like I said, Joe has one that maybe some of you remember, Republican or Representative Steve Hebert has endorsed me also. I think this used to be his area before they redid the districts years back. And I'm just wanting to represent and be guardian of the values for our rural areas. I know Goddard is a growing and thriving city. To me, I can still consider it rural. I'm sorry. I live out between Garden Plain and Cheney, and I just feel like our values were starting to slide years ago, our moral fibers, and there's a bubble in Topeka that I think needs popped. And I know a lot of you our politicians also, you felt a need to either serve or be a guardian for values or saw something that needed to be corrected. So I feel like city councils, fire departments, police chiefs, school superintendents, those are the people that I want to work the hardest with and when I'm elected. So just wanted to introduce myself, say hello, and August 4th, thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate your time being here. Anyone else this evening? Don't want to rush anybody, but looks like we're good. So we'll go ahead and close citizen comments for the evening. Item E on the agenda, just checking to see if there are any conflicts of interest. Council with any of the items on the agenda this evening? No. So we're good on that. You don't have any appointments or proclamations, anything? We're down to item G, consent agenda. Everyone's had a chance to read through that. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Krista makes the motion to approve it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Corey seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. New business. For that is our new HR director, Jean Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, I
I'd
appreciate
like to say
that.
welcome to the show, so here you go.
Yes, I do appreciate that. Hello, everyone.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you for letting me speak tonight. As Mr. Mayor said, I'm Jeannie Campbell, I'm the HR director, been here 81 days. I did count since this morning. And my topic is health insurance renewals and freedom claims. As this is my first time to present, I am so glad it is an easy and well understood topic. And I understand about this time of year that we talk about health insurance renewals. And to lay the groundwork, it's, as is almost every time the case, health insurance goes up nearly every year, every time, everywhere. But in anticipation of this annual increase in premiums, we budgeted 10%. That's pretty normal, pretty standard. And through our partnerships with Freedom Claims, we also have a health reimbursement arrangement that has helped build reserves. The industry trend, do I turn that? Do they turn this? You flip it before it does.
Right arrow.
The one that's worn out?
Yes.
Okay, so the industry trend is that costs go up year after year. That makes it tough on the smaller municipalities to stay competitive in our retention, in our recruitment. Last year, our increase was 12.87%, and we used all of the 10% that was budgeted, and we pulled from our health reimbursement arrangement another 2.87% to cover that. This year, we saw a decrease. I've done this a year or two, and it never goes down. This is a phenomenal year. This is a date to be remembered. And with that, it provides us a cushion and an opportunity to maybe go out and check other benefits that we could offer. We've talked about vision. We've checked into a couple of vision plans, and if we find something that makes sense for our employees, for this city as a whole, we may come forward at a later time and introduce that, make some recommendations based on that. We did our market solicitation. I shouldn't take credit for Freedom Claims. Freedom Claims went out and they talked to the big three: Blue Cross, United, Aetna. Wanted to make sure that the rates we were being told were competitive. They were really kind of industry standard. Found that they were. And the rate increase, again, is a decrease at 2.06% this year. The impact to the employees: no payroll increase, no changes to the plan, nothing. It's going to just be a smooth transition starting September 1 when our plan year changes again. With our budget planning, because we can't expect 2 years like this in a row, we're putting 10% back into our budget for 2027 in anticipation of a premium increase. With the decrease, that savings will go into our health reimbursement arrangement. So we've got that there, again, goes towards that cushion that we might offer benefits or other options to our employees. For legal consideration, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not changing that, I'm just talking to you, let me catch up here. Okay, approved as to form. And the recommendations and actions. Where was it? Up there? Did I turn it on?
There you go. You're on.
So we recommend that, you authorize city staff to execute the Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal. Why does it say Blue?
And let them know it's a motion in a second.
Oh, do I wait for this? Do I wait for something to happen?
You make the first recommendation, give an option, voice in a second, and then you can read the second one if you want to, give them an option for voice in a second.
Okay. Staff recommends that the city council authorize city staff to execute Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal. Do I?
Okay, we'll consider the first one, we'll do the dance on the 1-2 step here. Somebody go ahead and make the formal motion on number 1.
I make a motion to authorize city staff to execute the Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal.
Thank you, Amanda's made the motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Naomi seconds, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries by a voice vote of 5-0, okay.
All right, thank you. For the second recommendation from the staff, they recommend that the city council authorize the city manager or mayor to execute the Blue Cross Blue Shield and Freedom Claims Incorporated renewal documents.
Okay, here's the second step of the 2-step. I'll make the motion to authorize the city manager and mayor to execute the contract for Blue Cross Blue Shield and Freedom Claims as renewal documents. Second?
Second.
Naomi seconds. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very good, motion carries 5-0.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
With me tonight is Hadley Gillum. He's with Freedom Claims. He can answer any questions you've got about rates or trends or comparisons, what he did, what he found when he went out for the analysis. Anything in general. He's here from Great Bend, and I appreciate him being here. Will you have any questions for Hadley? In the back corner, I'll ask him to step up here.
Anybody that drove all the way down there from Great Bend, we ought to just ask them to say a few words.
Absolutely, I
Yes.
agree. Okay. Hadley, the floor is yours.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You can address
You did
them.
great for your first
Yeah,
time.
really good.
She made my job easy. As she said, my name's Hadley with Freedom Claims Management out of Great Bend, Kansas. Any questions this evening?
Maybe just summarize kind of what's happened here this year and with the 2% decrease is not the standard, so.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys would have had an identical demographic or enrollment from where you were previously, it would have been a little over 11%. But as she mentioned, you guys had kind of a changing of staff. Looks like we maybe hired some younger individuals, and therefore Blue Cross and Blue Shield, looking at you guys from an age perspective, brought that down to that 2% decrease. So if you would have kept your pool the same, it would have been 11% increase, which was kind of on trend with United Healthcare as well as Aetna. United Healthcare was about 15% increase, and the other one was about a 16. So they're all in that double-digit range. Blue Cross has been anywhere from the 11 to 13% range on those age-rated plans that you guys are on. So a very favorable renewal. I will talk a little bit about your reserves. You guys have a very significant amount in there. It has grown quicker than we imagined. I think that's a good problem to have, if we'll call it that. And this year, you guys will actually cross the threshold where you will have more in your reserve in an absolute worst case scenario you could possibly have in liability. So things are moving in the right direction. We like what we see.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You bet. You guys have a good evening.
You
Thank
as
you.
well.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Making the long drive.
You bet.
Okay. CFO Brooke Arrow, item 2.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First item up here is item I2, amendment to the 10-year capital improvement plan. And this is about the time of year after we've done quite a bit of work. We're in July, that it's time to just update our CIP. As you recall, we did this back in January where we just, realigned our capital improvement program, moved things around, got better estimates, kind of set our stage for the year. And now that we've gone through 3 of our 4 budget workshops, we were able to kind of gauge that, fine tune that again. As you know, our CIP is a living document. So what we've done is made some updates based on the 2027 budget workshops, and also to update the CIP for developer projects that we want to keep off of our debt limit. So again, this is an annual update completed for following the 2026 budget workshops. It incorporates all of our council-approved projects. It updates our estimates, revised schedules, and current development activity. Aligns the 10-year CIP with the city's current financial plan and long-term infrastructure priorities. Includes a resolution identifying developer-funded street improvement projects for the inclusion in CIP. Qualifying developer-funded projects are excluded from the city's statutory debt limitation under Kansas law, and provides a comprehensive long-range view of both the city-funded and developer-funded public infrastructure investments. These are some of the changes that we've made, and a lot of these you're going to be familiar with already because you've been to the budget workshops, but some things that were added were the city branding and promotions. This was a 2027 budget update, the senior center strategic plan for 2027. We also made sure we had dollars in there for our comprehensive plan year 2. Facility upgrades, we have decided to move forward with our council chamber audio visual upgrades. We have incorporated in the 2027 budget the police station and justice center engineering and design study. In 2028, we're projected to do the police station and justice center engineering as well. City Hall engineering and design, we bumped that up to 2028 from 2029 for the engineering piece, and then we moved up the City Hall modernization from 28 to 29. From 30 to 29. So those are some projects that have moved around on the schedule. And I forgot to mention at your table is the new updated matrix too that we like to keep updated. It kind of maps this stuff out. Parks and Recreation. We were able to include our Legacy Bank Park naming rights of our $50,000 a year that we're planning to receive against that project. And we added in our city pool filter replacement and city pool rehab program for $60,000 and $72,000. And our future pool maintenance is going to be at $25,000. We're going to bump that back out to 2030. So if you recall, in our current version before this, we only had $25,000 budgeted for 27 for pool, but then we identified a bunch of needs that were needed with the pools that we had to do some juggling, and we're able to push those out. Pathways and streets. In the 2027 budget, we budgeted $110 for the roundabout revamp at 183rd and Maple. The engineering on that, and then also the engineering for the US 54 and 199th Street expansion for $300,000. So those are some street projects that we've updated in there. Of course, I want to mention that these are just updates, so there's still things on there that we haven't changed, like our 5 and 5 program and those things. These are just changes that we've either moved around or added or taken off. Water, sewer, and stormwater projects. We added in the strategic capital improvement program for $150,000 to take place in 27. And 27 also the ground storage tank rehabilitation that we need to do. 2027 water tower booster program, or I guess it really ain't a program, it's just a function that we need to do. 5 and 5 water main program, we extended that out. I think we'd only, in our 10-year CIP, only had it out 5 years, but I went ahead and bumped it all the way out, $100,000 each year for water and sewer projects all the way through the CIP out. Our aerial well expansion, we've updated that. There's stuff happening in 26, 27, and 28 for that project. Right now we're estimating that total project to come in at about $3.65 million. But with that coming online, we did take off the Evergy area well expansion project because we feel like the Everly Trails will accommodate and accomplish the goals that we're needing for our city right now. So we actually removed $9.1 billion on that. Generator equipment, I skipped over that one for wells 4 and 5. Jason Public Works says that we will probably push that out. I think we had it scheduled for next year or the year after. He says right now we're just going to let it ride. He doesn't feel like that's something that's high priority. So again, we always make adjustments and determine the best use of our dollars and the projects that need done most immediately. Development projects that are added to the CIP, we got about $9.2 million of street projects related to our, development projects. And again, we wanna add these to the CIP, so they are not included in our debt limit. The resolution that we'll be adopting tonight is really structured so that those items are included on that resolution in our CIP. So overall, our 10-year CIP right now is coming in at about $120 million. Seems like a lot of money, absolutely it is, but it's strategically planned through 10 years, and we make adjustments as we need to through each budget season. I'm sure this will change again, but again, we like to keep this updated and as fresh as we can, since it's one of our living documents that we work with all the time. Financial and legal considerations. This doesn't mean that we're adopting any projects tonight. We're not approving any dollars to be spent. This is all just approving that they go on our schedule, and everything will obviously come back to council for approval before anything is set in stone. So the key point here, this agenda item updates the city's long-term capital improvement plan and does not authorize new spending or debt. So you can rest assured that city staff isn't just gonna go back after this tonight and start blowing through cash. So we can still bring everything to you for approval. Legal considerations, the resolution was prepared by Kevin Cowan at Gilmore Bell, so it should be ready to go. Shouldn't have any issues with it. And so tonight, staff recommends that the city council adopt the resolution updating the 10-year capital improvement plan and identifying qualifying developer-funded capital improvement projects for the inclusion in the CIP, and authorize the revised 10-year capital improvement plan as presented.
Mayor, could I add a couple things and then ask Brooke a question? I missed this in my review with her. Just one thing we'll want to change, and we can adopt this with amendments tonight. It's not going to delay the process. The Justice Center construction, we'll want to move that from 29 to 28. We intend to start construction in 2028 on that. I wanted to also add some color. The Everleigh Trails, that 3.65 million, that number is kind of floating. We know kind of what our engineering costs and stuff are for that, but the construction, I could see us coming back next year. If we approve the task orders tonight from Burns and Mac, we're going to get a much more accurate construction cost figure. And when we update the 10-year CIP next year, and we do this annually, we can refine that one a little bit. I wanted to also add, just for the public,
just when we bring that well online, 135 million gallons of water is the limit on that. 137.
Yeah.
I hate to be off.
Sorry. We don't want anyone going thirsty.
I'm glad I understated it.
Yeah.
But I think it's important for people to know that this is a process that we're securing our water future with this. We've been very fortunate to get this done for the cost and expense that we have. And this is just a really good thing. I just wanted to be sure we highlighted that. So.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's as you probably saw in the agenda report, for this next couple items down the road here in the schedule, there's a lot that's gone into that. Could you go to the development project slide? I just wanted the public to know that all of these projects are not being paid for by the citizens at large. These are developments that are financed through special assessments, so they're paid for by the lot owners that have purchased properties and built homes in these neighborhoods. Kevin couldn't be here tonight, so I'm not sure how he would answer this, but I did notice before that Goddard Galleria was missing from this list, and so if that's one we're able to add in, then okay, no, okay. That's all I have.
One other thing that we should also mention is on the facility construction of the police station and Justice Center, we did have that originally budgeted around 20 million, and Craig and Chief have done a bunch of research to reduce that cost down to be a little more accurate. So there's quite a cost savings in that project too through the work that they've been doing on that. So
yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Seen a lot of great projects coming.
Got some good things going on right now too.
Mayor, we would just ask that when you, request a motion that you, put,
Include the 2028 police station start.
please, sir, thank you.
Would someone like to make that motion and make that adjustment to the police station start at 2028?
I make a motion to adopt the resolution updating the 10-year capital improvement plan and identifying qualifying developer-funded capital improvement projects for inclusion in the CIP to include the date adjustment for the Justice Center of 2028.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Made in seconds, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
And I authorize the revised 10-year capital improvement plan as presented. Make a motion.
Second.
Very good, thank you. Motion moved and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0, thank you. On to item 3, still at the plate.
Okay, so now it's time for the 2026 second quarter financial report. Hard to believe we're already here at this point in time, and, you know, the budget season wrapping up, it couldn't be any better time, right, to be halfway through the year. So, this presentation looks just as it always has. The purpose of the report is to provide an overview of the city's financial position and performance through the second quarter, highlight fund-specific activities, balances, and compliance with the budget authority, and discuss any significant trends or variances. So we will go through the general fund. And, you know, I'm really happy to report everything is really lining up as we had projected, maybe performing just a little bit better in those categories than we had planned on, but overall everything is right on par. Some of the more performing revenue sources for the general fund, our comp use tax is up 15.97% from last year. Our franchise taxes are up 5.74%. Property taxes are up 22.56%, and sales tax is up 7.97%. Last year, we were kind of nervous about our building permits and fee income because it was down quite a bit due to the rainy weather and just some backlog of work, but it is performing 31.7% better than last year. So I think we're catching up, and, you know, we're doing a little bit better there. Overall total revenue, we are at 68.42% of what we expected to receive at this point in time. So really anything over 50% in my book looks pretty good. Year over year, we're up 16.54%. Our top 5 revenue sources, I mean, they're really pretty standard. We see this pretty much every quarter. Our property taxes, followed by sales tax, comp use tax, franchise tax, and building permits. I think last year building permits didn't really show up till almost third quarter or fourth quarter almost, but you know, they're starting to get right back up there where we expected them to be. General fund expenditures looking really good. Overall, our total expenditures are at 48.73%, and we would expect that to be anything under 50% or under, so we're hitting right at performance. Capital outlay discretionary, I want to just make a mention of that line item that we have. So there's a lot of dollars in that bucket right now, about $314,000 of 2025 expenses coming through in 2026. So that looks a little bit high, just for that, those items. But really overall, all of the departments within the general fund are really performing right where they need to be. Really nothing to really be excited about. If I notice somebody maybe over a 50% mark, I kind of look and I judge, and maybe we did our trainings or something early in the year, and there was some front-loaded costs with software and stuff that kind of even out throughout the year. So overall, general fund expenditures are looking really good. Top 5 expenditure categories. Again, really no surprise here. Our police, court, and animal control ranked number 1 in expenditures, about $1.2 million, followed by administration, capital outlay, the discretionary line item, which again, just as you remember, those are kind of capital projects. It's where we put our big ticket items in the general fund, software, grants, matches, consulting work, and also, as you recall through our budget processes, we will not be doing that next year. We'll be actually moving those around to different departments, so it's not kind of jumbled up right there in that component of the budget. Any questions on the general fund? All right, moving on to special revenue and enterprise funds. Again, these are funds, our special revenues have these different revenue sources, either transfers or gas tax or mill levy or, debt service transfers, or these get funded through these different components, and then we have our enterprise funds. Everything's looking really good in all of our enterprise funds, or all of our special revenues and enterprise funds as well. Debt service revenues down just a little bit. That's just some taxes revenue that we kind of expect to receive in any day now or any minute, really. I think once that hits, that will catch up and be where we want it to be. Let's see here. I wanted to make mention of the CID for Tanganyika. It's up 91% from last year, so their sales tax and sales and business seem to be doing a lot better than they were doing this time last year. And you're going to see in the budget presentation we do Wednesday night that we have to budget so much that we can give them through that tax. They're going to have they brought in too much money that we can't give to them, so they're going to have more given to them probably in January to catch up and kind of zero out that fund. Let's see. I will get into detail in the enterprise funds next. I'm going to skip down to stormwater utility. It's looking really good too. Revenue's up 9.2% from last year. So overall, revenue in all of these different funds is about up 3.66% on average. Expenditures, looking really good too. Everybody's staying within their budgets. In the water utility and sewer utility fund, it is looking like they're doing really well, but I want you to know that that doesn't include the transfers. These dollars up on top don't include the transfers below. So I think once you get your transfers up into that grouping, the water transfers and sewer transfers, they'd be right at 50%. So, they're doing really good. Operational wise, everything looks really good there. We've been able to make 100% of all of our transfers, or 50% of all of our transfers, 100% of all of our water and sewer transfers have been made. And again, I think I mentioned that in first quarter. I like to do all the debt service transfers out, so they're already done for the year. So when debt payments hit, we're not trying to juggle fund balance and making sure everything is in balance there. Enterprise fund performance, we'll talk about the water fund. Water fund's looking really healthy, a lot healthier than it has been. It just keeps getting better and better, just the way that we've been working it and the way that our rates are set and the way that we manage it, and just keep an eye on things. But our total operating revenue so far this year is at $870,000. Total operating expenses about $521,000, leaving a net operating income of $348,000. We have some other revenue coming in through non-operating sources and through the reserve fund, so we bring in some interest and some equity fees. Equity fees are down a little bit, as we've talked about in our budget workshops. Those are down, and maybe they will kick back up when things start, getting billed, and they're doing those, catching up with some work that needs to be done. So our total non-operating revenue was $61,292. Then we transfer out. We have all of our different transfers to the debt service fund, the water reserve fund, equipment reserve, and the capital improvement fund leaves us with a net income of $137,000. So even after all those things, we're still doing really well. Total water utility fund balance as of 6/30, which includes water fund balance and the water reserve fund, $1.62 million. I think when I came on, what were we like? Maybe 600,000 there.
I was gonna say a couple 100,000. I think it was
Maybe.
worse than that.
Yeah, it might have been. So we're keeping that balance where we would like. Capital and financing activities, we are doing some things, within these funds. Within the capital, the water reserve fund and capital outlay, we spent about $118,000 on different water projects, the Everly Trails projects, some other, whatever seems emergency or something that we budgeted for comes out of that fund. And then we have some capital outlay that's really non-cash. It does not affect the water funds because it's either coming out of the capital improvement fund, where we've got fund balance built up over there to do projects, or it's been financed through TIP notes and it's handled outside of the water fund. So with that being said, we've spent, $84,000 in the capital improvement fund and $720,000 within our TIP note projects, which would be the SCADA, and the water looping project. So those are the projects we're doing there. Operating ratio, 59.89%, excellent. Anything under 80 is good. So again, this means that our rates are where they need to be to handle basic operations. So that is good news. Net income as a percentage of operating revenue is at 40.11, also excellent. Days of cash on hand is 1,157 days, and our debt service coverage ratio is 4.83. So those may seem like really good metrics, and somebody might wonder why we keep that much cash on hand. We have purpose for that as we work through our budget and we project it out through the next 5 years, how that money's gonna be spent, either paying off debt early, paying down debt, cash flowing some of these projects on our CIP. So those dollars all have a plan. Any question on water?
A precious resource that we need to guide. Take good care of.
Sewer fund's doing good too. Really no complaints here. Total operating revenue, $941,000. Total operating expenses, $495, leaves us with net operating income of $446,000. Other revenue coming in, just like the water fund, we have interest income and equity fees coming in at $75,000. Transfer out for debt service, sewer reserve fund, equipment reserve of $477,000, leaves us at $43,994. Now, that number seems a lot less than our other one, but if you take into consideration we've done 100% of our transfers at this point in time to our debt service fund, that it's going to get better and better, I think, unless something happens in the next quarters. Our revenue will be just fine. Our metrics are still okay as well. Total sewer utility balance, sewer balance and reserve is sitting at $2.3 million. Excellent amount of cash to have on hand. Capital outlay, we spent about $201,000 on different projects within the sewer fund, sewer reserve fund. There's just a lot of projects that they've been working on, like the catwalk, and I can't think of them honestly right offhand, but they were on our list when we were working on our budget. Nothing's happened in the capital improvement fund. We haven't used any dollars there for projects. There was no need to at this point. TIP note projects, $227,150. That is SCADA. So that's what that is. Operating ratio, 52.6. Net income as a percentage of operating revenue, 47.4. Days of cash on hand, 1765, and debt service coverage ratio at 2.58. Again, very, very healthy. We like to see our utilities performing. So, any questions on that? Okay, so now we will cover the capital improvement funds, all of our reserve funds and our capital improvement fund. So first quarter, we were sitting at $50 million in our capital improvement fund and our project fund balance. Now remember, our projects also include all the developer projects in our capital improvement fund. Next slide will break those down. We dropped down to $46,279,000. That's no big deal because that just means projects are happening and things are getting billed, and those dollars that we borrowed are being spent like they're supposed to be. So there's no concern really, even though that arrow's going down. Maybe I should put a smiley face on it or something. Look, we're spending our money and doing our projects. So that's what that means. To break out all the projects that we have, this is the balance as of 6/30. Out of the 46 million, 19.9 million is allocated to city project funds, and you can see the breakdown there. 2.6 is in our capital improvement fund. Part of that 2.6, within that 2.6 million is dollars for SCADA. I want to say there's about probably $586,000 left on the SCADA note withheld in that group of money. And then we have those other projects there. I want to make mention that the Arbor Creek Phase 3 and the Bridger at Maple Phase 1 are the two temp notes that we're getting ready to convert to permanent finance. So those two will be coming off of that and then going on to our GO bond debt schedule. So that'll change, but we're also, when we bring that note to you, we're also going to add some more to it. So you're going to see the note for the 2026-3 coming in there with the meter cans and some 167 projects and 23rd edition projects coming in there too. So again, this thing juggles around, but this is where we break it out right now. Reserve fund balances, we have an equipment reserve, sewer utility reserve, and water utility reserves, all of those levels really kind of just staying holding flat. I mean, we are spending money in there, but they have revenue, they have interest income, they have transfers in. We kind of watch that, just kind of keep them at a level that I don't ever want to drain them down, but we want to keep them, you know, ready to use. In our equipment reserves, we have spent $132,000 on these sort of projects. Computer and office equipment are $32,000. That's our annual computer upgrades, our cloud migrations, our firewalls, and all that stuff. That's all planned. I mean, that's all within the budget, so that's not a surprise. Our vehicles and components, that's police car and outfitting that we budgeted for. Camera equipment for the pool and public works equipment repairs. They bought something to, it was a tire machine, tire something, but now they don't have to go pay somebody to do tire work, they can do it themselves. So sometimes you gotta spend money to make money, isn't that what they say? That
We
word
like the
there.
explanation too, just to explain what it is they got.
Right, yeah. So, debt summary. I'm almost done, I promise. As of 6/30, we're sitting at $107,405,000 in total debt. 50% of that is developer projects sitting at $53,645,000. 22% of that is special assessment project stuff that's already gone to permanent finance. And then our city projects is about 28%. So out of that 107 million, 30 million of that is city at large, really the ones that we really got to keep on our radar to make sure we're covering those payments. Everything else is handled through special assessments. Treasury update. We're sitting at about $59 million in cash as of 6/30. Our total interest earnings as of 6/30 was $1,056,000. That's up 57% since last year. So that just shows that, you know, all the cash we have on hand, we're constantly looking at the interest rates. You know, I kind of juggle between People's Bank and First National Bank, kind of based on what I can do there to kind of get us the best interest rate that we can get. Excuse me. We will be moving money from, and I have moved it already, Farmers Bank and Trust. That's our Freedom Claims account. So you can see at that point in time, the $241,000, we have moved that out of there to First National Bank right now. There were some FDIC issues that I wanted to make sure that were being covered. So it's easier managed there as well. So chart shows all the interest rates. Like I said, that's exciting there. I don't know. Quarterly treasurer's report. This has been sent to the paper. It's ready to go. Again, this just shows your funds, your beginning balances of 331, all your revenues, expenses, so on and so forth. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's required to be published quarterly in the paper, I think by Kansas statute, so we make sure we get it in there. Change in fund balance. This just goes to show what our fund balance was at the beginning of 3/31 and the ending at 6/30, just trying to show where we are overall in all funds, if that mattered really. We've decreased in total fund balance by about 2.5 million. So, you know, each fund's gonna do their own thing based on what's happening. A good portion of those is our capital project funds down there at the bottom that, like I said, are moving and spending those dollars out for the different projects that they're financing. Fund balance compliance, this is always a fun one, just to make sure we're where we need to be with fund balance compliance and haven't dipped down below somewhere where we don't like it, and everything's performing exactly where we want it to be. So when Brett and I are on a call with the bond rating agencies, probably in the next week, we want to be able to show them this, that we're following all the rules and they're willing to loan us money at a good interest rate. So I put this in your packet just so you can have an idea. I like to put it in here, council approved city projects, just something kind of outside of, this doesn't include any developer projects, this is just city projects, just to remind you, we did approve these projects, this is what we did, because to start going through the year, we sometimes forget all of the stuff that we do, so it's just kind of a running total. And finally, just some projects and planning update. The Tyler ERP implementation is moving along. I think we're still in stage 2 of 6. They haven't told me the next number if we're there or not, but the chart of accounts is in progress and it should be finalized this week. So that's really exciting. That's the heart and soul of our accounting system. So we'll get that finalized. Our financials, so my main job will go live in November of 2026 is what we're estimating. Payroll and HR is going to start taking off in December and January and possibly go live in March of 27. Utility billing, we can't do them all at the same time, so we have to push it out. So we're looking at May of 2027. So my goal of getting this all done this year wasn't in Tyler's plan, I guess. So I got to work with what they're doing, but we work timely with them to get them exactly what they need so we can move this along.
Keep after them.
I do. 2027 budget prep, our final budget workshop is Wednesday night, so congratulations, we've made it this far. Our R&R hearing and budget hearing adoption will be at the meeting on September 8th, and then hoping to have the GFOA budget book done in August. So that's kind of where we are, lots going on. Be happy to take any questions.
Questions, comments?
I was just gonna say, I feel like I say this often, but I said it again today. For us little people who are not numbers people, I really appreciate the way you break this down, because sometimes questions that I probably would have, I don't have to ask because you're so thorough in the way that you explain it and the way that you put it out here for us. So I just really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Couple dittos and very well done.
Good job, Brooke.
Thanks, Brooke.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Speaking of water, city manager,
Mayor and City Council, this thing on, testing, DJ Craig, shout out to the Boy Scouts.
Can you turn it on, push the button, is it green?
Alright, how about now?
Sounds good.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor and City Council, it's my pleasure to bring to you agenda item of new business, the Everly Trails Municipal Well preliminary engineering for both the well and the transmission line. Before I get started this evening, I sent some communication to you guys about this, but I just want to reiterate this Everly Trails opportunity came to fruition because of due diligence by our longtime city engineer Harlan Foraker, who found these water rights and helped us get this process underway. And I want to publicly extend my gratitude to him for that work. And as you would have seen in the agenda packet, there's a lot of detail. And basically going back to the beginning of spring of last year, there's been hurdle after hurdle after hurdle that we have had to get over to get to this point. And a lot of that effort occurred due to the work and diligence of Carl Schwartz, our attorney at Morris Lang, partner of Ryan Peck. So just grateful to those two for their work in helping it get to this point. And then really for the last 6 months or so, the Burns and Mac folks have taken the baton and worked with city staff to kind of get us to where we're at today, which again included a lot of time and effort. And Brian Meyer is here with us this evening to assist with any of the technical questions that you're going to have for me that I can't answer. So you saw a complete timeline of the planning milestones that have occurred over the last 18 months or so. The remaining work is primarily selecting the transmission line route and completing the formal engineering and regulatory submittals that are going to be required by a couple of our state agencies. So Burns and Mac has helped us thus far with the hydrogeologic, say that 5 times fast, regulatory and preliminary planning matters for the project. Attached in your agenda packet would have been 2 task orders. One relates to preliminary engineering for the water well itself, and the other would be the transmission line. We got to take 18-inch pipe from the site near 135th and 13th central-ish area to our 18-inch transmission line on Kellogg and finding the proper way to do that. So the purpose of this agenda item is to consider approving those task orders so we can continue with haste on the process of the preliminary engineering. So these 2 assignments will be completed by Burns and Mac concurrently. Obviously, the alignment is going to affect some of the disinfectant process where that's located in relationship to the well itself. So the task orders do not authorize final design or construction. So these 2 task orders are going to get us most of the way there. As you would have seen in our budgetary conversations, we've got some funding set aside kind of for the final engineering and construction administration. If all the stars align, maybe we're building a well by the beginning of 2028, or if things are really lucky, maybe the end of next year. So I'm not going to go through all the specifics of the task order. They're a very comprehensive scope of work. You can see that there's 2 costs here, one for the well itself, $153,000, and then $90,000 for the transmission line. So working with our CFO Brooke, we're going to fund this partially from the Water Reserve Fund and partially from the Capital Improvement Fund. Depending on what the council and the CFO recommend when we issue temp notes to finance this construction of this project, we could consider paying those cost centers back with temporary note proceeds, or we could keep our annual debt service down by just using that cash and not reimbursing those accounts. So with that, I want to offer Brian Meyer the opportunity to share anything he'd like about where we're at in the process and what's to come, and then open it up to questions from the City Council.
Thank you, Greg. Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Brian Meyer with Burns McDonnell. I'd probably echo a couple of the things that were just said. Talking about water and how important it is to the community. In this day and age, there's nothing easy anymore. So the work that was done to secure this water source is phenomenal, and it really can have a tremendous positive effect on the city going forward. And 2 of the things I would add that make this have such good potential is when we're looking at new well sites, new sources of supply, quantity and quality, first things that come to mind. This potential source hits both of the marks. So that's exciting because we need to have, for a sustainable supply, we need to meet both of those objectives. So we're honored to be able to work on this project. We look forward to it. And as Craig said, there's really 2 pieces to this. Looking at the configuration of the well site, what's going to be right for the city long term from a strategic well development standpoint and infrastructure, and then looking at the routing. How are we going to get the water into the system? What is the most cost-effective route, including selection of pipe size, material, and the routing. So we're looking forward to it, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
At this point, yeah, we've got plenty of information on it. But thank you for doing the work with it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, Mayor and Council, I've got a recommendation here for you on the slide. Staff is requesting that you allow the mayor or city manager to execute the task orders.
I make
make a motion to approve task order 2 and task order 3 attached for a total amount not to exceed $243,000 and authorize the mayor or city manager to execute the task orders.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Next one.
This is the talk. I think this thing is dead.
Well, they were shutting it off then.
This is I-5, so this is the resolution for US 54 18001 West Highway 54 annexation. So, just kind of a brief background, but this is a property that's on the south side of 54, just kind of east of 183rd. You probably passed it when you're heading east of Wichita and seen it a couple times. This does qualify for what we call a unilateral annexation under state law. Ryan Peck is our attorney. He's here today to testify to this if you have any questions about the legality of the unilateral annexation. Step 1 is a resolution, which you guys see in your agenda packet. It has to be, that's the first step. You have to adopt that resolution. It sets the public hearing. We have to wait 60 days. We have to send out letters to all interested parties, which includes not limited to Board of County Commissioners, Fire District, Township, School District, and others, of course, the property owner themselves. At which point, when you guys have that public hearing, we'll go through what's called the Annexation Service Plan, which is outlined and included in your agenda packet. We'll go through that agenda, that Annexation Service Plan. We'll outline, once again, the legal qualifications for this property. At which point, you can hear from any interested parties if any show up, and then you can adopt an ordinance later in September to annex the property. But as mentioned, here's kind of the 5 steps. You have a report, you have a resolution, notice of affected property owners as well as others, interested parties, a public hearing, and adoption and publication of the annexation ordinance. The report shows the extension of the services. The resolution will be sent to all affected parties and sets a date for the public hearing. The public hearing must be held not less than 60 days, nor more than 70 days following the date of adoption. The public hearing will take place on September 21st, 2026, which is the 3rd Monday. Resolution must be published in official newspaper not less than 1 week and not more than 2 weeks preceding the public hearing, which is September 10th of 2026. The delineated sketch map must be published with it. So we'll handle Sarah Simon, which is the city clerk, and myself. We'll handle all these requirements, and we'll send all the certified mailers to all the interested parties, just like we did, as you guys have experienced before, with the Hawkins Lane development. So purple is our city limits. The area that we're interested in is this one. I will mention that we also sent out an annexation petition request to KDOT for this property right over here. That one they actually generally verbally consented to, but they haven't signed the petition yet. Once they do, we'll bring that before you guys as a separate agenda item, but they haven't signed the petition yet. This one is the unilateral annexation that we're considering today. At some point, we probably should consider annexing this little triangle here too, but we figured we're just gonna start these 2 first. This is what we would consider making the city limits harmonious, because as you can see, it's a sea of purple all around what we call an inverted island, and so bring this in will make the city limits harmonious and contiguous. Next. So there's a small publication cost, because we have to send out a lot of letters. We don't need to publish the resolution. Like I said, we have a specific time window as it gets close to that public hearing date. But that resolution has to be included in a lot of letters that we send and certified to all the affected property owners. So here's the legal. As mentioned, Ryan Peck is here. If you guys have any questions about the legality of it. It is recommended that the council adopt the resolution setting date for public hearing and authorizing the commencement of unilateral annexation of that particular property. Questions?
It's just unfortunate that things like this have to go through this process. You know, property that's halfway burned to the ground already, with vehicles and different things on the property. It is what it is, I guess. Any other questions or comments? Corey, you wanna make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution setting a date for public hearing and authorizing the commencement of unilateral annexation.
Second.
Thank you. Corey's made the motion, Amanda seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Michael, thanks. Trying to keep up on my computer. Danny, the show is yours.
The light passed away.
Yeah. Use your inside voice.
Alright, I'll use my inside voice. Okay. Well, shoot. I am here today to present our Fall Festival Inflatable 5K request. We've had a lot of committee meetings, and this is what the board had voted on to change the pace of things. So, we'll stick to the slides. In previous years, the Goddard Fall Festival has welcomed approximately 11,500 visitors for tournaments, a parade, kids corner, carnivals, vendor shows, food trucks, and of course live entertainment. Last year, approximately $20,978 was spent on the live concert and fireworks portion, which drew an estimated 200 attendees. Due to the limited participation, the Fall Festival Committee is recommending a new approach for 2026. On July 7th, 2026, the committee voted to move forward with a proposal to replace the stage entertainment and fireworks with the Great Inflatable 5K, creating a more interactive experience designed to increase participation and appeal to a broader audience. Music and entertainment will remain part of the festival, with a DJ scheduled throughout the park from noon to 5, and 107.9 providing music in the morning and as well as in the evening near the carnival. Some more background. The Saturday morning event will feature the Great Inflatable 5K, a fun, non-competitive 5K experience featuring 11 great giant inflatable obstacles designed for participants of ages 8 years and up. The Great Inflatable 5K company is originally from Naples, Florida. There used to be 3 throughout the United States. Once COVID hit, 2 of them decided to sell and shut down their business. And so the only one that is truly up and running and responding is from Naples, Florida. Background continued. Each registered participant will receive, of course, your typical 5K initiatives like a t-shirt, race bib, medal, and then access to all 11 inflatable obstacles throughout the course of the day. Festival attendees will enjoy unlimited access to all inflatable attractions during operating hours for an anticipated admission price of approximately $10 to $15 per participant on Saturday and Sunday. This format allows both race participants and festival guests to experience the attraction throughout the weekend while maximizing attendance and community engagement. Transportation. So some of the big costs that we see having them come is a truck rental and fuel, event staffing and labor, which is their team, marketing and paid social, which is what they'll provide as well. Pretty well everything listed they'll provide, unless of course I have a previous or continuing sponsor that would cover the cost of something they would need, like gas for generators or a first aid station, and of course several other things like traffic cones, you name it. Just miscellaneous things you need for races like this. Marketing and paid social, of course, $4,000. Lodging and meals, $2,500. Along with lodging and meals, depending on the sponsors and what people would like to do, we can probably save some money there as well. So a lot of these prices and estimated costs could significantly go down. Insurance will not, unfortunately. That is permanent. But forklift rental could be an easy supplement for United Rental. Business overhead, equipment depreciation, and operational reserve is going to be $8,000 for them. Our total estimated cost would be about $43,250. The proposed minimum revenue guarantee is intended to cover the estimated cost of producing the event, including participant materials, transportation, staffing, business overhead, equipment depreciation, and the overall operational commitment required to transport, set up, and manage the event in Kansas.
Analysis continued. Minimum revenue guarantee, they would need a guarantee of $43,350. All gross revenue June, the great inflatable 5K registrations, festival inflatable admissions rate from if total gross event revenue reaches or exceeds $43,350, no payment from the city is required. If total gross event revenue is less than $43,350, the city would contribute only the difference between actual gross event revenue and the guaranteed minimum. Alright, so one more, continue, go on. Projected revenue will vary based on attendance, weather conditions, marketing performance. Based on comparable great inflatable 5K events, anticipated revenue sources include anywhere from an estimated $35,000 to $45,000 for registrations. Then for festival open play, anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. An estimated gross revenue would be anywhere from $45,000 to $65,000. So, where will it take place? I have already been in the works of talking to Dane, and he has given us his blessing, the superintendent of our schools, to use the school's property for where this race would take place, which would ultimately ensure soft grass, considering the only other time I have seen in history where an inflatable 5K came to Wichita, Kansas, or around the area was in 2020, and their inflatable 5K was in Sedgwick County Park, which has a lot of stickers, and based on just people who have ran the race that were in this community that gave their feedback, they recommended soft grass. That was their number one. They were picking stickers out of their hair and their clothes for about 2 hours after the event. So, initially we would have our course go around the baseball fields so that attendees and vendors would be able to see the race going on in the morning and throughout the afternoon. We would have tiers from 8, 9, 11, 12, and 1 p.m. And then we would give room for 10 a.m. to 11 so that everyone could pretty well make it to the parade and enjoy all the aesthetics and see the joy. And then, yeah. So that we would, here we go. So we would move, they would have their registration at Clark Davidson. I always get these schools mixed up, so fresh. But Clark Davidson is where registered participants, as well as people coming in for the race, would come and park and get set up. This would be your starting point, and then it would go around from there. And our next question would normally be, logistics, would it be in the way of the parade? Approval from Goddard Schools, kickball is 5 to 7. So we've got a kickball tournament this year from 5 to 7 on Friday, so it won't interfere with when they will be there, which is Saturday and Sunday. And then the 5K parking will be, of course, at Clark Davidson. So here's the overall map, and then just to fill everyone in, we have moved parade check-in due to safety precautions from previous years. Last year we had a lot of people queuing off of Kellogg, and it created a traffic jam, and also I would hate to imagine kids on a parade float waiting on Kellogg. And that just screams danger to me. So we Lions Club really initiated it. Pathway doubled down and said they would love to do security for the crowd. So we're gonna check in here down at Goddard High, queue from to the left and up onto Main, and then they'll circle back where that yellow dot is 4th Street. They're gonna queue back to 199th and head back to the school so that they never cross Kellogg, and also so that they don't intersect with other things going on in that morning. So, for instance, when they're getting ready to queue for the parade check-in, if there are vendors in the morning that are still checking in, they'll be coming down Main so they won't intersect with each other. And of course, vendor registration will close an hour and a half, actually 3 hours before the parade even starts. They close at 7:30. And then, yeah, I suppose we'll go back home. If we can. Maybe we can't. Maybe I won't go back home. There we go. Alright. So just so everyone has an idea of how the layout's going to be this year, we've got our volleyball, cornhole, and pickleball tournaments happening at Sandbox. Our carnival will of course be where it was the previous year. Instead of live music, we will have a movie in the park,
held by Blast Off Bay, as well as a Touch-A-Truck held by hopefully sponsors from previous years, like our good partners on the Prairie. And then we've also got Free Swim Friday night, and of course, free parking at Blast Off Bay during the day. So if all the streets are crowded, you can always go there and they'll provide some shuttles throughout the day for you. Let's see. Alright, so the revenue sharing partner, the Great Total 5K proposal includes a revenue sharing opportunity for the city of Goddard. After the final agreed upon minimum revenue guarantee is met, 20% of all gross event revenue collected above that amount would be credited to the city of Goddard. The minimum revenue guarantee may be reduced if the city secures donated services, sponsorships, discounted pricing, or other local partnerships that lower direct event expenses. Any verified savings would be applied before the event, and the revenue sharing threshold would be adjusted accordingly. The structure also allows both parties to benefit from local cost-saving efforts and the event's overall financial success. It is recommended that the city council move to approve the proposal amount of $43,350 to be a part of the Great Inflatable 5K event. Any questions?
Questions?
No questions.
Is there a weather contingency on this if it rains?
More or less, we have them for 2 days. So we have them all day Saturday and all day Sunday. And so, I mean, I would hope that it doesn't downpour all day. But a few hours won't make or break them by any means. We would probably just set those times back a little bit.
And if revenue is down, just like worst case scenario, what does that look like as far as like the funds that come out?
Absolutely. So with projected sponsorships, as well as just even if, you know, let's say we had registrations come in and they paid for the race, we are looking to spend about $13,712 with the $20,000 we saved from that we plan to not use towards the live music. That would go towards that 45,000, 43,000. Sorry, I round up in my head. But, yeah. So overall, we're looking to have about $20,000 in sponsorships this year. And right now we are at $8,000, not including, for instance, golf carts, Blast Off Bay sponsorship tournaments.
That was included in your in-kind, that's
Yeah.
just cash. Okay.
Yep, and then the revenue so far that we've brought in for vendors is $10,800, I believe. And so, just with registrations from vendors, and we're projected to make $18,800 in projected vendor registration revenue this year.
Mayor Lee, could I address the council?
Please do.
Councilman Hall, I think, and I want Danny to correct me if I'm wrong, but if we are taking all the sponsorship up front and people are registering up front, I don't know if it's a no refund policy, but assuming it would be, then the dollars and cents wouldn't change for us. That's something we need to verify, it sounds like.
Do they have any feel or estimate, kind of knowing the area, how many participants they would have?
We would need pretty well 1,000 to cover the cost.
Are they fairly confident coming to this area that that'll happen?
They would feel, yeah, they feel confident just in the numbers that surround this town, that they could bring in that amount, as well as, I mean, we've got partnerships with Run 316, and of course, Prairie, Fire, Marathon, event staff. And so, having the outreach to the running communities is a big step in the success of these events, and knowing that we've got those first hand contacts to help us really navigate how to execute that is pretty vital to this event.
If we know anybody that might be willing to sponsor, we should send them to you.
Absolutely.
Here.
Absolutely.
And you've reached out to the running community around here regarding this specific event?
I have reached out to Genesis's Run Club Foundation, and they would be more than happy to be a part of it, as well as help promote it. And then the 5K event that used to, or at least had previously taken place at Fall Fest a few years back, had mentioned that they had interest in helping even volunteer at this event.
Well, I guess as I thought about this, I think it's kind of a unique opportunity. It's something that's different. And if we have a good first year, this is something that can grow over time. And it's totally different than anybody else around the ring around Wichita is doing. So I think there's a minimum amount of risk, and I know you're going to continue to work hard on sponsorships, and I think it'll just be neat to see a couple of these running organizations. I know I've got some kids down in Clearwater. There's about 20 of them that run regularly, so maybe I can get you 20 runners. So.
And in the videos on the Facebook page, it's not just kids that do this, like, mostly I see adults and college kids, high school kids doing it. They do it in teams, and they have a Facebook page that you can follow and look at some pictures and stuff. It's like a lot of fun.
On the off chance that any of our senior center walking group is watching, we could go from a 1K to a 5K by then. So I just want to put that out there if any of them are watching.
Well, and by all means, you could do a 1K and sign up for a 5K. I don't think they'll argue with you if you say you're done. I'm sure they'll give you your shirt and your medal. Yeah.
Say, one thing I want to say is, I think it's a creative new idea to bring to Fall Fest. Yeah. My biggest concern when I first started reviewing it was just how it would conflict, or how to deconflict it with the parade, because the parade is such a big part of Fall Fest. But with what you've laid out about moving the starting and the kind of parade route, I think that looks like it'll deconflict pretty well. So I'm not as concerned as when I originally saw this and thought, how are we going to put a 5K in the same city as a parade? But it looks split up enough that I think it makes sense on the layout, so I'm less concerned about that, so I'm a little more excited now. So thanks for laying that out.
Of course. They've done a lot of good work. They've deconflicted it with the pancake tea, they've deconflicted it with bingo, and they deconflicted it with the parade. They've done a lot of work to deconflict everything to make sure everybody can do all the things.
And this year it's going to be 75 and sunny.
It is.
So I'm
always
confident.
60.
Somewhere, give or take 50 degrees.
It might be in the street's locker, but come play golf with me. The golf dome that covers any time I play golf, sunny and 75. Someone said it was 95 the other day I was playing golf, but it was 75 where I was.
There's bingo on the Saturday night as well. Friday and Saturday. So
7 at both.
there'll be no conflicting with that either.
I mean, there will be a movie in the park around 8 or whenever it so chooses to get dark. But I mean, I feel like a movie in the park isn't going to conflict too much with bingo Friday night. Saturday night. Because Friday nights.
Oh my God, you guys have done a lot. It's impressive.
So as you're talking about just sponsorships and things to go with Fall Fest, you're doing a movie in the park, you're doing Touch a Truck again, back in that same area. Are we doing inflatables still?
We are.
So it's still the kids' corner, this will just be completely separate, okay.
Yes, well, and that is a great question.
And for these, like, what kinds of sponsorships are you still looking for in these areas?
Oh, that's a wonderful question.
I don't want to put you on the spot, I'm just.
We're always looking for more sponsors to help cover the cost of entertainment for the kids. We've got our playful area with bounce houses. We've also got acrobats coming this year. I believe 107.9 and Union Stockyards are confirming an inflatable bull ride, or maybe it's an electronic plane. Not for sure on that. I've never seen it. And then as well as they'll be providing a stage for judges, and then in the evening they'll be able to play out this way. And then from 1 to 5, this street will be blocked off for basically open streets, so you're welcome to rollerblade, ride your bike, play hopscotch, do what you feel in the street. I was joking, I don't necessarily know if I was joking, but I made the comment to Dan Funky, you know, if it gets big enough that bingo can't fit in the community building anymore, you could use this whole street. And 107.9 would just love to announce you. They love to be yelling out B12, you know.
Did you follow that up with saying the words, "I'm joking"?
I mean, I mentioned it, and he said.
We'll see you all on Main Street for bingo.
If it gets big enough, you know, I offered him that there's a safe space here, it'll be blocked off already, you know, I was just letting him know that. And then, we also tiered our food trucks this year. We would like for our food trucks that are closest to the carnival to be up and running all 3 days. And so they pay a little bit more than our other food trucks. So any food trucks that are yellow oranges, they paid $300. And then specialty ones like roasted nuts or cotton candy, they paid $150. And they will either be, if your cotton candy will be intermingled somewhere in the park, or if, you know, depending on what you are, you'll be intermingled with the blue vendors that are surrounding the park. And so, we could always use sponsors for pretty well everything. I mean, we could use prizes for the parade, we could use sponsorship prizes for the motor show. I don't think I've even mentioned that we're having a motor show, but where it is located is TBD currently. Craig doesn't believe in me. I believe
Not
our
true.
parking
Called
lot.
out.
I believe it's gonna be done, and if it is,
No.
they'll get to go through the parade
No.
and register right in here. But if it's not done in time, let's say construction is backed up, then we may be moving a motor show down here or into the vendor loading station, depending on the flux of the event. But we are having our public works department, we've got some artsy builders in our public works team right now, and so today I was billed $12 for engine parts to be welded together for our custom trophies. And so our trophies are coming in, gonna be polished, clean, platinum, nice and, yeah, shiny silver.
If I see you hanging bricks over there on the apartments, then I'll believe that it will be done.
Any other questions? Time is moving on.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Great Inflatable Sky K.
I second.
Any other seconds? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Go raise some money.
We have to
Okay, moving on here.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, slides will advance eventually. The next agenda item is related to 611 North Spruce. You guys have sent that there. There you go. One more. Just advance a little faster. There you go. So, basically, this is 611 North Spruce. This is a resolution saying that, hey, we've notified the property owner multiple times related to particularly an RV. Christina Silva with Morris Lane just put together the agenda and the resolution, so it's approved as to form. This is saying that this will give us, the city, legal action to remove that RV as it's deemed a junk motor vehicle. And we are working with that property owner as much as we can. We're also working well within the confines of city code and state law as it pertains to that particular property to bring about remediation at multiple different levels. This RV is one of those levels that we're trying to address now. So, as mentioned, Ryan Peck is here, city attorney. Do you guys have any questions related to this one? I know we've kind of discussed it briefly.
Any comments, questions? Just a long drawn out process.
Yes, there's more to come, but this resolution at least gives us the authority to remove that, just that RV as pertains to that property.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance. Ordering the abatement of a certain nuisance condition at 6.
There should be a resolution.
Resolution. Put them on one page there.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. As I said, I recommend that we adopt a resolution ordering the abatement of certain nuisance conditions at 611 Old Spruce Street, Goddard, Kansas. Do I have a second?
Second.
I made the motion, and I need a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Mike, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item J, city manager's report.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, I'd like to just submit my report to you for your review. For the sake of time, we've got a couple of lengthy closed sessions to come. Is there any questions? If you've had a chance to review, or Mr. Joe is free to ask me later.
That'll be fine, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Governing body comments.
Start down there.
Start from the left, ladies first.
I really don't have much. Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. Thanks for all the work that's been done to get the water well. So, I know you guys did a lot of work over there, Harlan.
Sure.
And team, but it's going to be a great thing for Goddard. So, thanks for all your work that you've done. Thank you for working with us and finishing it through. We're pretty excited about having the extra water rights and getting the water flowing, so thanks. Danny, thanks for all your work, you and your committee. I'm super excited for Fall Fest this year, and I'm totally signing up for that, so can't volunteer during that time.
I can shift you out.
Taking an hour off. It'll be my lunch break. I don't have anything else.
Great job on the financial for our second quarter. So thanks for putting that together and making it pretty. That's important to us.
It is. We love the
Thank
colors.
you to the city staff for all your hard work in continuing to move our progress forward. And I think that's it.
I just kind of want to echo that, and yeah, excited for Fall Fest this year, and it sounds like a lot of new things, and thank you to everybody that came out. Excited to see all of the upcoming projects in the CLP, so.
Yeah, I'll just echo a lot of the same comments. Just looking forward to progress on the well and the water rights. That's really exciting stuff. Also, if you haven't been out on Goddard Road, the public works facility is going vertical pretty quickly, so it's pretty cool to see that coming along. Thanks for the updates on that. Appreciate that. So, I think that's all I have.
And the other thing I think is maybe nice to mention is I think Apex and the work that they're doing in the street repairs on the tree streets from Spruce, Pine to Oak. They've been working long days. They get started about 7, and I think tonight, as I was coming up here about 6, they were still grading, and they'll be putting down asphalt in the next day or 2. And then the work on the water and the sewer lines ties into that. A lot of work is being done, and they're doing a nice job of it. So. With that, we'll move on here to we've got a couple of item L's.
One more. Thank you. We put
Okay.
60 minutes on there, but it's up to you guys.
Let's say 45. Let's say 45. We can always come back to this.
Here's a good 2.5 number.
Come back.
There's a part of that.
Go again.
Okay.
Yeah, can't come back early, so if we go short and then add later if you want.
Yeah, let's say, let's do 45 to start, and we could always extend.
I move to enter executive session per KSA 2015, 754319 for consultation with the body's attorney for privileged communication and confidential data relating to the financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorship to include the city attorney, city manager, and community development director, with the public meeting reopening at 9:15. No action to follow.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
And seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll see you all if you decide to stay. Scouts, thank you for coming tonight. If you decide to come back in the future, let us know. I would love to have you guys lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. You can be a small part of our meeting. We do that every meeting, so thank you for being here.